Good morning. We are live. This is Patrick Lee, your host, and it's time for Midweek Motivation Live. I trust everyone is doing well today. We're going to have a great show this morning. Going to talk about some things that are active in your life, in your business, as well as mine. Talk a little bit about the business climate, and a few things that are going on in life. And hopefully this show will reach out to you and help you today. People already starting to tune in. You know the drill. We will be back right after this. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm glad to be back. I hope y'all are glad to be back with me today. Like I said, this is Patrick Lee, your host, Midweek Motivation Live, now on all major podcast platforms. Find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, iTunes, any one of your major podcast platforms. You can find Midweek Motivation Live with Patrick Lee. A lot of people ask me, hey, where do I find your show? I heard you have a show. Where do I find it? And of course, Facebook and YouTube. If you're on YouTube watching the show, be sure to subscribe to the Midweek Motivation Live channel and then click on the bell and you will get notifications of the show every time it goes live, which it's usually not live, but when it gets, the new videos get uploaded to YouTube. Of course, we're live on Facebook and usually LinkedIn. Then we update to everything shortly thereafter to all the other podcast platforms. People already tuning in. All of the regulars love that. Good morning, Christine, my lovely sister-in-law out on the Oregon coast watching. It's early out there, for her. So she's got to get up early to get on the show. I love that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Many of you that watch the show know I just had a birthday. Thank you. I just turned 60 years old. I still feel 29 inside. Age is just a number, right? And it's usually defined by the wrinkles around your eyes and the gray in your hair. So you can tell I'm not 29 in real life, but I feel it inside. And I'm just blessed with good health. I do what I can to take care of my health. And I also operate in what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk to you about, if you saw the title of the show when we were going live, it's like, take it easy on yourself. There is grace in your race. And that means your race, my race. And you're like, oh, here we go. We're going to talk about the Lord today. Not in an area or in a fashion that you may think. Hello, Ann. I hope this show blesses you today as well. But there is grace in your race. And when I say that, what am I talking about? Many of you that watch the show know that I'm a faith guy. The show can be about business. It can be about my life. It's about your life. And it's about helping people in all areas of their life, right? Motivating you to success in every area of your life. And people are going through a lot of stuff right now. And maybe some of you've seen a trend. Maybe some of the shows are wavering or waning more towards the faith side lately for a couple of reasons. As we go through life, as we are experiencing everything that is going on in the world, people are becoming more and more and more troubled. They don't understand. Many people are reaching out to me. Thank you, Sal. Good to see you as well. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Facebook blew up this week with all of the birthday wishes. I am always amazed at how many people want to tell me happy birthday. Facebook is so good at that. And I go through every day and try to remind myself to tell everyone happy birthday as well. All of the birthday wishes were amazing. We had a little get together the other night with a lot of family and friends, and had a wonderful time. I was honored to turn 60. So, excuse me, no buts, only ands, right? And I have been talking with a lot of people lately, especially lately, about the times, about the political climate, the financial climate, all of these things. A lot of people going through stresses and things in their lives, deaths, divorces, family issues. I prayed with some people yesterday really just for direction in the lives of their immediate family, children. And someone asked me, we were praying at the church last night. We just had a prayer meeting so people can just get together and pray. Our church has been going through revival now for nearly a month. And it's really growing everyone's faith, my faith. And it's also causing me to exhibit more grace. As more grace is exhibited and given towards me, it's causing me to want to reciprocate that. I believe that everything in life I teach you on here, right, is reciprocal. The seeds that you sow are going to be the harvest that you get back. Some of you that are sowing bad seeds, you better pray that you don't get that harvest. We in the old Pentecostal circles, we used to say, you better pray for crop failure on that one, because you sowed some bad seeds out there. And I am doing my best not to sow bad seeds. Can I do better? Absolutely. Can you do better? Absolutely. But that's kind of what we're talking about today. There are some times that we sow some bad seeds, and we make some poor decisions, some less than excellent decisions. Hey, Pete, good to see you watching again as well. And Marlene, my amazing assistant and incredible lead buyer's agent, is usually watching online, and she's here in the office. She's right. Don't tell anyone. She's sitting right there. She's keeping me in line this morning, which is awesome. And Erica, my daughter, my marketing director, is around the corner in our plug and play room, also working over there. So she's not a distraction, but I think it's mainly so I don't distract her while she's working, which is awesome. So we are consistently trying to make better decisions, so we don't have to pray that crop, dies in the field. And some of the things that we are doing and saying as things get harder, how many of you can attest that it's been easier and easier for you to just start popping off about things? Our fuses are getting so short because of the events that are going on in our world and around our world and in our immediate neighborhoods, things that are going on our national level that we abhor, the kind of injustice and I'll just go out and say it outright, just demonic things, the demonic forces that are at work in our world today. And my strict business people are going to tune me out right now, and I pray that that's not the case. But you have to admit, the regular mind of man is sinful in nature already. We know that, right? Man is sinful in nature. There are many of us that have come to the light, people that are faith people. Whether you just say you're religious, and I've been called religious this week, and I've had to correct a couple of people, not because of religiosity, but I've had people that tell me, well, I want to say something, but I know you're religious. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm religious? And then when you ask someone what that means, everyone will give you a different definition of what does religious mean, right? And you can be a religious coffee drinker. You can be a religious vegan. And you can be a religious, how many people can use that word? She works out religiously, right? Your religion is something that you do as a repetitive nature, something that you adhere to and follow along with. Yes, you can do that religiously, but religion, of course, people call is the practice of worshiping whatever God or whatever belief system you have. If you do that regularly, you become religious along those lines. And people mistakenly think that everyone who claims to be a believer in God, Yahweh, is just a religious person, and they are not. Everyone says that all gods are the same, and we're not here to talk about your God or my God or all gods. The word God isn't God's name, it's what we call him, but he is Yahweh, the great Jehovah. Yahweh, his literal name is like YWHW, breathe in, breathe out. That's what it means. It's like a breathe in, breathe out sound. His name is Yahweh. His name is not God, but we call him God in America. So all of that aside, you can religiously love puppies. Okay, I'm not religious. I believe in God. I'm a follower of God. I'm a follower of God who came to earth in the form of his son. We call him Jesus in the religious translation, Yeshua, Yeshua HaMashiach, which was the Messiah. So all of that aside, I'm not a religious person. I fail, I falter. Sometimes I cuss people out if they deserve it, but I get forgiveness for that, And but we're humans walking through life in a troublesome time, and that's what I'm getting at today. We're in troublesome times. And as a kid growing up in a Pentecostal household, all of the things that we are seeing now are things that were predicted and prophesied and told to us by our grandparents when we were young. And it's listed out, it's spelled out in the Bible. I was reading my Bible this morning in the book of Romans chapter 8 and talking about a lot of different things about, walking in God's image and favor. And everything that we do should be for his glory, not our own. And that's what we try to consistently share on the show. It's all about him, not about us. Big H, him, little m, me. Okay. But we get in this habit of beating ourselves up over the fact that we're not perfect. And they say, if you're religious, you just think you're better than everybody. And the person that truly follows God and is trying to make it in this world is simply on track to try to be better as they move forward, right? The Apostle Paul even said in the New Testament, just follow me as I follow Christ, right? Follow me as I follow him. I'm just trying to be more like he is, right? I'm not perfect. We're told to be perfect, but we can't be perfect because we're human. We live in a sinful world. So there's a lot of stuff going on all around us, right? What in the world is grace that I'm talking about? There's grace in your race. Grace is defined as a freely given, unmerited favor and love of God. The freely given, unmerited favor and love of God. The definition, I'll just go to definitions, and in the Oxford Languages, in the old Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word grace says elegance or refinement of movement, but it also means courteous goodwill, grace to admit your debt to other people, and admit when you falter or fail. That can be defined as grace as well. To do honor or credit to someone or something by your presence is to grace someone. That is another definition of grace. But the real meaning of grace, I think this full meaning of grace is this undeserved favor, the influence or Spirit of God operating in and through us all. A lot of people talk about grace and they lump it with mercy, God's grace and mercy. But they're really not the same. And a lot of people have used this line or statement in the past. Mercy is when you don't get what you do deserve, and grace is when you do get what you don't deserve. That's the influence or Spirit of God operating in and through us all. God's mercy withholds punishment from us when we deserve it. And how many of us know we all deserve some punishment in our lives for things that we have done that everyone else doesn't know that we do. My parents used to do this to me when I was a kid. We would get a spanking randomly. And we would say, what's that for? I'm the fourth of 5 children, next to the youngest, 2 girls, then 3 boys. And I was probably one of the mildest mannered of all 5, but we all got spankings pretty regularly as young children because we deserved it. But every now and then you would get this random correction from mom or dad, and we would say, what was that for? And they would say, that's for something that I'm sure you think you got away with, but you deserve to be corrected over. And you just sit there in your room and think about what you've done. And I don't know if that's still a parental ploy to this day, just for a reason to let out some angst and anxiety on your children. But it certainly worked on me, because I would sit there in my room after this spanking thinking of all the things I got away with that I deserved to be corrected for, and I never got caught, right? Is it really a crime if you don't get caught? Is it really a sin if no one knows? But the things that we do and the person that we are in private when no one sees us or can catch us is who we really are. How many of you can comment or raise your hand and say, that's me? I mean, we all get away with things that we deserve correction over, but no one is there to see us, so we get away with it. That is grace. And when you operate in grace towards other people, knowing full well that there are probably things they have done to you, at you, against you, or said about you that they deserve to be called out for, corrected over, or put in place over, but you don't, because you don't want to sow the seeds to bring back a harvest for your actions on top of that, right? But how many of us, because of the stress that we live in, the world that we live in, the angst that we are feeling from our government, inflation, crime, sexuality of our children, the agendas that are against us in the world, we want to turn around and lash out at other people or call people out for their wrongdoing or correct others because it makes us feel better about us. And oh, at least I'm not, I may have done some things privately, but at least I'm not as bad as they are. Man, you're just sowing discord and you're fooling yourself. And you and I are just as much in need of grace as that person. And we need to get our mouths in line. I'm working on it daily, praying about it daily, to try to continue to sow seeds of goodness, to speak better of others. The best thing you can do is speak well of others or don't speak about others. And I'm turned 60, and I would like to say that hey, at 60, you would think that gives you a license to be more vocal. And I'm more vocal in speaking out about injustice, yes, but I have to be more careful about speaking about someone specifically. We have realtors in our local market right now that are feeling the pressures of the market. And because they don't have the tools in their tool belt to go out and learn how to talk to people properly, they're just taking half of their clothes off and going to a bar and approaching people to randomly say, hey, I'm a realtor. If you'd like to date me, maybe we can do business together. How desperate does that person have to be to think that no one knows that they are putting that kind of a mark on a national group of business professionals? And here's where the grace comes in. I pray for that person that they simply get a mentor that can help them and teach them how to be successful and keep their head above water when this seemingly endless flood of inflation is affecting people, higher interest rates are affecting people, and they don't know how to run a successful business because they've had it easy for the last couple of years since they got their license as a realtor. There are people in any career that you have or any walk of life that you're in, people that are operating. They are loosening up their boundaries, their morals, their inhibitions out of desperation, trying to go out and find a way to put some money in their bank account. And if this is you, this is who the show is for today. As I talk to you, I talk to me, I talk to everyone watching the show, we have got to learn to operate in and accept this influence or Spirit of God operating in us and through us, which gives us this freely given, unmerited favor and love of God. In the race that we are all in, we have got to learn to give ourselves a little bit more grace. And as we give ourselves a little bit more grace, which is freely given from God, we will learn to operate more in that spirit towards others. I got a phone call this morning at about 7:30. I didn't answer. Was drinking coffee, getting ready for work, and actually in my quiet time, and I just don't answer the phone at that time. And I was doing all of the things I tell you to do: get up early, made the bed, wash my face in cold water, spend some time to read the Bible and get before God and get straight with the day, what I needed to do, and get in the right spirit to do it. And then get ready to come up here as well and talk with y'all. And I had to give myself some grace, and I was feeling guilty about not answering the phone, and I knew the person. And while I was in the shower, I got 3 more calls, and I did end up making a few calls this morning before I came on the air to talk to y'all. And we talked about the things that are going on in the world today, some political events that happened yesterday, other things that are going on in Israel, and then had to take the time to challenge a friend to get closer to God, to redirect his efforts into prayer and inner reflection, and at the same time was thinking about that with myself, and that ended up influencing the direction of the show today. We have to give ourselves some grace as we're all going through life. It's easy to lash out. It's easy to get cocky and mouthy and start spouting off half truths or things that we've heard online and things that we saw on social media. And all that does is bring discord. It brings separation. It brings division. And it makes us farther away removed from, number one, from God, but also from our friends. As we become laser focused on the bad, on the evil, on the other side, it makes it that much easier for us to have this gap between us and our friends, and more importantly, a gap between us and God as we divide. And that spirit of division, we know where that comes from, and that is not anything having to do with God's unmerited favor, his grace. So my challenge to you today is simply this: give yourself a little more grace. Be nicer to yourself. Realize that everyone may not be in the same financial situation as you. They may not be in the same familial situation as you, or relationship or lack thereof as you. But we are all in this boat together. And as we have said on the show before, all ships rise on the same tide, but they also all fall on the same tide. So if you are finding yourself struggling in your business, I think that this is a great time for you to accept some grace in your life and then come back and refocus. Come back and put together another business plan. If you have miserably failed in your relationships and realize, I'm just horrible with people. Maybe I'm horrible with people of the opposite sex, and I don't understand why I cannot have a successful relationship. Give yourself some grace, man. Lady, give yourself some grace and just realize that we're constantly working on a better version of us. God's not mad at you. Patrick Lee's not mad at you, and you shouldn't be mad at you. You should get righteously indignant whenever you fail miserably and wake up and recognize that you have failed miserably, but give yourself some grace, brush yourself off, and start all over again, right? Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. God's not mad at any of us. God gets hurt when we fail and we speak evil of our fellow man. I'm not preaching at you. I'm just trying to help you. But God has grace for us when we fall. Why can't we be better at showing grace to ourselves? And that's really the gist of the show today. Give yourself some grace. If you're struggling in life, man, give me a call. I can't always answer because I have boundaries and I have a business to run as well. But reach out to me, give me a call, message me, click on my digital business card here on the show. I tell people this all the time. Click on the digital business card. It's usually always scrolling under. I'm looking in my banners. I'm like, where's my digital business card? It's ticking across the bottom of the screen right now. And then I put it in the comments below below this video, click on my digital business card and you can find out about me, and we can talk about business or we can talk about life and grace. Get an appointment in my calendar through my digital business card. Send me a text. I'm not hard to find. I have the same phone number that I've had for over 25 years. 25 years I've had this same phone number, and it's on all of my marketing everywhere, is my personal cell phone. Does that mean you can abuse it? Nah, it just means I have boundaries and I won't always answer. But if you reach out to me and you tell me what you need and I haven't answered you in a call, leave me a voicemail. I have a really cute voicemail message. It's very motivational. People love it. And I don't send me a text and get an appointment on my calendar and just say, hey, I'm going through this. Can I talk to you? I'd be happy to talk to you. Just say, hey, I want to talk to you about this. I want to start something new in my life. Maybe I need to work on relationships and I need some pointers. Reach out to me and I'll make time for you. I make time for everyone that reaches out properly and wants help. I've even made time repeatedly for years that people that just wanted to use me for my time and my advice, but never made the change. And those people just don't get a phone call answered anymore because of this, because of boundaries. I've given myself enough grace to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. But I've got grace for you. I've got grace for me. Thank you, Ann. That's a great comment. Grace is so important. Grace is good. We need to remind ourselves that God's not mad at us. We need to quit being mad at ourselves. We just need to do better. Can you just make a commitment today to do better than you did yesterday? If you'll do that for a few days, you'd be surprised at how much better you are at the end of the week. I know it's helping me, and I hope this is helping you. That's the theme of the show today. Go out there and get outside of your comfort zone. Remember, courage begins at the edge of your comfort zone, right? Go out there today, get a little bit uncomfortable and work on yourself. Give yourself some grace. Man, I think you'll be glad that you did. Hey, I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Thank you so much for coming back to watch the show each and every week and for commenting, getting involved. Share the show with those that you love as well. Maybe we can help them. Until next time, this has been Patrick Lee, your host, saying bye-bye.